Hello everyone. Today we're going to be looking at the QuickFAR mobile application and some of its newer features as well as a few of its quirks, and we're going to go over some of the details that you may not know about the newer update. So when we first open the app, the first thing that I want to talk about is the update detected and updating assets notifications at the bottom of the screen. Those indicate that an update was detected either from the General Services Administration or from Recursive Dynamics in the form of the actual app itself. In either case, one of those updates has caused a new decompression of a compressed asset either from Recursive Dynamics or from the General Services Administration. This all happens in the background, so there's no need to worry. But there is a caveat there. If you're using a version of this application from before 2022, then, or if you're not sure, I would highly recommend you uninstall this application from your device and reinstall it from the Play Store, because that will give you the newest version of the application with all of the updates from the General Services Administration and all of the updates from Recursive Dynamics. We automatically update that typically once every month or two, which keeps it pretty up to date. And there is another way to check that as well. If you go to the help section, you can see the FAR effective date. So if you were to go to the General Services Administration, or rather the acquisition.gov site, you would see that the last effective date should match this date here. And the app version, we typically don't publish this, but if you wanted or needed to contact us with information about your mobile application, you would use this version number here, and that would tell you about updates from us. There's also some contact information in here and some disclaimers about how we use material or data that we collect through the app, which as of now there is actually no data collection, but there may be at some point. So the next thing that we'll touch on is how the read section works. So this is just for researching a topic. If you're interested in reading about a certain section or subsection, part or subpart, or any part without, excuse the keyword, of the FAR, you can go through these links and you can search on each page. So once you get to the page that you're interested in searching, you can put in a term. These are not case sensitive and they don't need quotes. So when you click search, you'll notice that it's highlighted. If there are multiple results on the page, we'll back that out and we'll type in and you'll notice there are multiple results for that on the page. The result that you are scrolled to is green, and you can scroll through the results using the arrow keys. When you reach the last selection and you click forward, or the first selection and you click back, it will scroll you to the previous or next respective result. It's important to note here that most of these pages are bigger than one page, so this is helpful just for those large amounts of data. And we'll also get into the search function in a minute, which searches the global FAR, and then it's very, very useful to use this function. So let's go back to the main page, and also if you want to, you can always use this as well and scroll through all of these different areas. But if we go back, we can view the search page, which is another cool page. In here you can search the global FAR. So like it says here, you can search for a part.subpart, or you can search for a certain term. So it doesn't matter, again, the case sensitivity, it's insensitive. And also, it doesn't matter the term that you search for, the search will typically take the same amount of time. It's going to take a while to search for this on this emulator, because the emulator it doesn't have very much RAM, but your phone will be faster than this. So it would probably be about 5 or 6 times as fast as this. You can look at the results while they're populating. So, and you'll get a note up here at the top when the population is done, but you can see all of the results have been highlighted, and you can break them apart by section. And then if you scroll through, I've scrolled back up, but if you scroll down past that section, you can see other sections here as well that word still shows up on. And as you can see here, even though the word here is federally, it still shows up because federal is a substring within the word federally. So if you wanted to search just for the word federal, I would recommend that you add spaces either at the beginning or at the end or both of the word you're looking for, and that would guarantee that you would just find that word. So depending on whether or not you also want to search for it at the end of a sentence, like if you know that the word agreements comes up at the end of a sentence, you could search for agreements with a period, and then that would get you to at least this result, and it may show up in some other results as well. So let's scroll to the bottom of the page, and as you can see, that term shows up a lot throughout this FAR. If we go to the quiz section, we can actually generate a quiz and quiz our knowledge on the FAR, and it gets much cooler than that as well. So once we check the part of the FAR that we're ready to be quizzed upon, and you can select all the sections as well at one time, or any subset of sections. If you click Generate Quiz, you'll see that the quiz generates very quickly, and some of these questions are preloaded, so you might see a couple of them twice, but a lot of them are generated based on an artificial intelligence inside the app that basically just reads for keywords and does some syntax analysis to try to find out what would be a good question to ask you. And then it just generates these questions, some of which are based on where the FAR actually says a certain phrase. So it will say, in what part does it say this? That's probably a pretty easy one there. But another option that we sometimes get is the multiple choice answers. And there's several different kinds of those as well. Some of them are talking about chapters, acts, subchapters, and FAR parts. So if we just click submit, like let's say we don't know any of the answers, if we click submit, it will give us the answers. Even if the correct answer is in here, it'll still be overwritten with the 100% correct answer. So if your answer was accepted, but it wasn't exactly the same as the one in here, it might overwrite it, like if you missed a period or a space or something like that. But I wouldn't worry too much about that. These aren't really graded. But then below that, it tells you exactly what part and subpart this shows up in. And what's really cool about this is, let's say that here we didn't know that the deviations pertaining to treaties and executive agreements were mentioned in 1.405. We can go to 1.405 and it will actually show us, it'll highlight the answer on the page as well and tell us about that. So you'll notice if you go back that the quiz has been cleared. So I would recommend that you use a web browser to navigate the FAR if you want to do those two simultaneously. But if you do quite good typically, or you want to write them down for later for review, then that would also be good. We can generate another quiz, and as you'll see, the questions are different. So let's do that one more time because I want a better keyword to show you. So for example, the COR stands for Contracting Officers Representative, maybe? I don't actually know. So if we click this link, yes, it is representative. So as you can see, the highlight has happened at the top, and not only there, but throughout the page as well. And you can still use these arrows to scroll through them. So if the page goes, multiple phone lengths long or phone heights long, you can search through them and see exactly where that keyword is mentioned throughout the quiz. So if we generate yet another quiz, we can go in and select another. So we'll just select agreement. And this is great. This is a good example. So if you scroll through, you'll see it'll automatically scroll it to the center of the screen as you go down, and then it'll put you back up at the top whenever you're done. So you can figure out exactly which paragraph or which sentence even it might show up in that you may have missed. So that's essentially a tour of the QuickFAR. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you have any additional questions for us at Recursive Dynamics, feel free to leave questions in the comments below or contact us via social media or our contact information listed on the help page. So I hope you all enjoyed the video, and we will see you next time.